It's the beginning of March 2016, so it's time for me to shoot another update video in which I talk about what went on in the month of February and what we've got coming up in this month of March. I'd like to begin, as I usually do, by highlighting three big things that either took place recently or are on the horizon. The first of these is that I have now taken over officially as the editor of Stoicism Today, the blog that is sort of the organ for Stoic Week and Stoicon coming up this fall, and also for the Stoicism Today project. So I'll talk a lot more about that in the March section. Another big thing that I'll talk about in the February section is that we finally reached the 100 video mark for the half-hour Hegel series. It's kind of a big milestone. If anything shows proof of concept for a crowd-funded, sort of do-it-yourself scholarly enterprise like that, I think 100 videos, each half an hour long, probably that shows that it works. And the third thing, which I think people are going to be particularly excited about, is that we are now in the process of getting courses ready, and I'm going to be teaching courses not for credit but for personal enrichment, no longer on somebody else's platform but on our own, Reason.io. We're using our own Moodle, and I'm going to be creating a whole bunch of different courses over time. There's a survey that I'll talk a little bit more about in the March section, but I just want to tell you there's a link to a survey, so if you want to get in on that action and say, hey, Dr. Sadler, I'd really be interested in this course or this course, you want to look down below and find that link and follow it out. So let's talk about the month of February. I actually lost about a good week of the month due to illness in the last week and a half or so. I did get some work done, but it cut into it quite a bit. And that's a problem because February is a very short month, even with a leap year, right? But we still got quite a bit done. So events, the videos for these are available, linked to down below. 3 talks or workshops. One at the beginning of the month was on Aristotle, Athens, and Alexander the Great. Another one about the middle point of the month was on the philosophical themes in J.R.R. Tolkien's works, primarily the Silmarillion and the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And finally, we had a talk, or actually a workshop, on Aristotle, friendship, and relationships that we hosted at the Hudson. So those are all available. I had a lot of work on the plate in the month of February. I've been engaging in some philosophical counseling and tutoring with clients. We've been doing some consulting with a local radio station to help them in terms of organization and underwriting and things like that. I've also been doing a lot of work with priority thinking, primarily working on curriculum having to do with anger and the emotions. There's been a lot of back-end work on the Stoicism Today blog and project, getting ready to transition in. And I've done a little bit of academic writing, some work on some Marcel papers that I eventually want to get out and get published. I actually closed 2 of my blogs. It's a hard thing to do, but it really was time to make a decision about that. So Virtue Ethics Digest and Sadler's Existentialism Updates, although people are reading them and the articles on them, I'm not going to be writing anything more in them. The good news is there's still plenty of blogs out there that I'm going to be writing in. Now, video work. I only got 4 of the 6 half-hour Hegel videos that I intended to get done, again, because of illness. But I did get 4 of them done, so that's quite a important mark. We got to that 100 video threshold. And I did event videos for each of those 3 talks. Those are all available down below in the description of the video. I kept on releasing those Epictetus core concept videos that I shot originally for the Epictetus class that I taught this fall. You can tell how many of these videos I actually produced for that course, given that I've been, continually releasing them. And I also released another course with Curious.com, an educational platform that does micro courses and short lessons where you can find, video stuff with handouts and links to the text and questions that you can answer. So it's a bit more interactive than just watching a video by itself. That was February. Let's talk about March, where there's even more going on, but where there's a little bit more time to get all this done as well. So I have 5 events lined up for March. It's going to be a very busy month as far as that goes. Starting on the 10th, March 10th at 7 p.m. at the Brookfield Public Library, we're continuing the Worlds of Speculative Fiction series. This time we're turning to a great science fiction author, very influential on many people, great favorite of mine as well as of Philip K. Dick, who I'll talk about in that. But the author is A.E. Van Voigt. The guy who wrote the Null A series, the Slan novels, the Weapon Shops of Isher, a lot of really interesting stuff. So that will be, like I said, Brookfield Public Library. On the 16th at 5 p.m., this is Central Standard Time, I will be holding another half-hour Hegel question and answer for the general public in the Google Hangout format. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, you want to, around that time, look on my Twitter, my Google Plus, and my Facebook feeds, because that's where the link will be showing up. On the 22nd of March at 6:30 p.m., I'll be at the Shorewood Public Library giving a talk for Women's History Month on Mary Wollstonecraft, called Mary Wollstonecraft, Feminist Philosopher and Exemplar. She's a real favorite of mine. I hope to do a little bit of writing about her this month as well. On the 28th, I will be at the Wauwatosa Public Library. They've invited me in to give a lecture on who were the existentialists and what was it all about. So if you're in the area, stop on by and you can learn about that. And on the 31st, kind of a big trip happening, because I'm going out to Virginia Commonwealth University, where I've been invited to give a talk called What Can Analytic Philosophers and Continental Philosophers Learn from Each Other? So that'll be an interesting venue to be in. It's largely analytic, and I don't think they completely realize that I don't belong to the analytic or the continental camp, but that I'm history of philosophy and philosophy as a way of life kind of guy. But it's a very interesting topic. So a lot of cool talks coming up. If you can join me at them, do so. Make sure to introduce yourself, and we'll chat. So work. All the things that I talked about in February are continuing through: the philosophical counseling, the tutoring, the consulting, working for priority thinking. Stoicism today, I'm now fully stepped into the role and answering all the queries and lining up blog posts. But I'm also doing a lot of work developing these classes. And I've got a survey available to you if you're interested in, like I said, getting in on the process of telling me what you're really interested in, what you'd like to take classes on. I'm going to keep the survey open for a little bit more, and you can take it. 7 questions. These are the classes I'm particularly focused on developing right now. That's not to say I won't be developing many other classes in the future, but you can see what they are by taking the survey and giving me your input. I'm also going to be engaged in quite a bit of marketing work, which is not my forte, but is a set of skills that I'm slowly acquiring because I have to start lining up more talks in a number of different venues. And each type of venue and each type of talk takes a different kind of skill set, you might say, to get the word out about it. By the way, if you're interested in having me come in and give a talk or a workshop of any sort, send me an email at greg@reason.io, and we'll talk about it. If it's a good fit, we'll do it. If it's not, maybe I can suggest somebody else who might be. What else have we got going on? Some writing. I'm continuing that work on Marcel, which is a bit slow, in part because Marcel is a bit tough to write on. He's not all that systematic. He's very, very enjoyable to read, a great favorite of mine, but it does take a bit of time. And I'm returning to some academic writing on Aristotle and the subject of anger, trying to get some work done on a long-standing project on a book on Aristotle and anger. Popular writing. I will, of course, be writing for Stoicism Today as well as editing. Depending on how much we get in the way of submissions, I may write once a month, or I may write every other month. If I don't want to clog it up with my own stuff, if we've got plenty of other things, and that does appear to be the case. But I am going to try to get a piece out this month, probably on habit and time, which sounds like a rather abstract set of ideas, but you'll see when the comes out. I'm doing some writing for Priority Thinking's Leader Time. I'll also be hopefully doing some writing not only in Half Hour Hegel, which I've been pretty good about, but in my main blog. It's supposed to be my main blog, Orexis Dia Noetike. And if I get the time, I'll even do a little bit of blogging in Heavy Metal Philosopher. I haven't done any work there for quite some time, but I've got some thoughts brewing that I want to put down. Another thing that we did was I put out the first Reason.io newsletter, finally, since we came back here to Milwaukee. And, it tells you about news and events, classes that'll be coming up, talks that are coming up, any other sort of things that are going on. Like, for instance, I published an article recently on Anselm that you might find interesting, on Mercy and Justice, another side project of mine. But if you're interested in being in that newsletter list, if you're not already getting it, I'll put a link to it in the video description below, and you can click on that, fill it out, and you'll be on the list, and you'll start getting those probably about twice a month from now on. The last things that I needed to talk about is video work. So this month I will get 6 half-hour Hegel done by hook or by crook, because not only have I committed to it, but the less that I get done on that, the longer the project is going to take. And I don't want it to take another 4 years. I'd be happy if it took another 3 years. I'm also probably going to be doing a bit of you might call it a fun drive this month, trying to get more people interested in becoming subscribers or not subscribers, but Patreon backers for the Half Hour Hegel series. The videos, of course, are free. I make them available open access on the internet. Best way to find them is on the Half Hour Hegel blog, because I've got so many that they're now curated in each section. But if you want to support a worthwhile digital humanities project, this is definitely one of them. This has not been done before in this sort of systematic, overarching way by anybody up until this point. Even David Harvey's Marx lectures, although they're really great, they're not going into the sort of depth that I'm going into with the Half Hour Hegel. So if you're interested in throwing a little bit of extra income this way, I'd be very happy for it. It goes to support a lot of good work, like providing the hangouts and all that. Epictetus videos. I still have another 8 core concept videos, believe it or not, from that class. I must have produced at least 50 or 60 during the course of that class. So I'll be releasing those, hopefully, over this current month. And, of course, the event videos. And if I have the time, I'm going to start shooting some videos on other matters, but I haven't quite decided what those will be yet. It really depends on time, energy, and workflow. The last thing I'll talk about, too, is there'll be another video coming out that features me that's not in my channel, but is in the groundwork for the metaphysics of MGTOW. The MGTOW people are this movement that I'm sort of looking at from the outside. They wanted to, well, at least this guy Marcus wanted to bring me in as a practical philosopher to talk about some of the issues that they're running into. And so this time I was interviewed about friendship. So we talked about Aristotle and Cicero and contemporary friendships, and how they fit in with the whole matrix of contemporary society. So really great interview. That'll be coming out later this month, I believe. And once it does, I'll put a link to it here on the video. But you could go over to his channel and check out the previous interview that I did with him on anger. On the red pill rage. So in any case, that's everything we've got going on for March, which is, as you can tell, quite a lot of stuff. I'm hoping that I'll get all of it done and maybe even a little bit more. So that's that. Have a good month, and like I said, if you're in the area for any of those events, come on by. If you're interested in supporting the Half Hour Hegel Project, check out the Patreon page. And if you're interested in any sort of speaking or workshop or anything like that with an institution or organization near you, shoot me an email and we'll talk about it. All right, have a great month.